Alright, B.
Degeneration! Ha!
You guys are.
Degenerate! Ha! 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 Coop,
Yes, sir.
help me with something. I heard a rumor. What's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future 2. My favorite trilogy of all time is Back to the Future.
Why? Why? Don't you dare. It's not over, son. It's not over. Don't do that. It's not over. Game, set, and match. Why? Why?
Back to the Future, the trilogy, is by far the greatest time travel movie ever. It defines what time travel technically is in movies. There has been so many quotes, replicas, anything that deals with time travel nowadays. What's the first thing that you really think about?
Time travel.
Back to the Future.
Flux capacitors.
Flux capacitors.
Well, look. Well, if you're old enough to have seen or to know, then maybe that's the first thing you think of.
And if not, get educated.
For some people, the first thing they think of when they hear time travel is like Phil of the Future.
And that's
Which
sad.
is terrible.
That's sad.
We digress. So, all right, look. Without starting an argument, which I'd love to do, without starting an argument, what makes that trilogy outside of the time travel piece? Because I mean I can understand as far as it being a staple in terms of time travel. Because there really aren't a lot of other movies that come directly to mind when you think about time travel anyway.
Excuse me.
But what makes it why is it the perfect trilogy?
For me personally, it's just it's one of those trilogies where you think it's over, but then that extra thing happens. It's like staying after the credits in a Marvel movie. Something always happens. And if you're not doing that, then
Fix your life. Straighten yourself out.
it's always that extra thing that happens. You wait for it, and you learn that after the first movie.
Okay.
That it's never really over. Even the third one, technically, they could have kept going with that after the third one.
It would have been too much.
It would have, but
It would
still.
have been too much. So now, why is... But of the three, Back to the Future 2 is your favorite.
Yes.
And it's not because of the hoverboards, which are real now, by the way, like real.
Yeah.
Why is the second film your favorite of the three?
Well,
Like, I know why it's not as good as I know why the third one's not your favorite, but why is the second one not?
Well,
why is that your favorite?
For several reasons. First of all, we saw a bunch of stuff in that movie, future-wise, that that was pretty awesome. The hoverboards, of course. The and everything's just a lot of stuff is inspired by the second movie. The hoverboards, the Marty McFly shoes, which are like ridiculously overpriced. But anyway, storyline wise, it's really awesome because he goes into the future to fix his kids' issues, and then he finds this magazine where it has all the sports.
Like all the winning, it's like an almanac.
Yeah, it's an
whatever,
almanac.
like
Sports
a-
almanac. That's what it is.
yeah.
It's a sports almanac from like 1987 all the way up to 2015.
Yeah.
So he wants to take that with him into the past, so he'll never lose a game. You can make as many bets as you want. I mean, use your imagination, right? So, but that doesn't work out the way he plans it to. Doc tells him to throw it in the trash. Biff gets the sports almanac.
Biff. McFly.
Steals the time machine, goes back to the past to give it to his younger self, and they don't have no idea what happens. So when they go back to their present, it's not their present because Biff has alternate the past.
Right.
So what they have to do is go. Well, their present is like 1985. So they have to go.
It is.
So they have to go to the past.
To 65.
To 65 or 55.
55.
55 to catch future Biff and get the sports almanac. Destroy it.
To catch future Biff with the almanac before he gives it to younger
To go to their present, so everything will be back to normal.
Right, but what is it about it that makes it? Technically in terms of a story, it's not all that different in terms of what it does from the first one. So what is it about the second one that just makes it better than the first one?
Because the first one he had to go back to the past,
and that was it.
To fix his parents' issues.
Right.
So when in the second one, and when he has to go back to the past again, he has to avoid running into himself when he went back to the past the first time around.
Right. That still exists.
Yes. He can't run into himself. If he runs into himself, either he'll pass out or the universe will just explode because you're not supposed to do that.
You don't.
So it's amazing to see a movie that goes back to the first movie but changes it.
Because you actually see scenes from the first movie, basically in the second
movie. And
so it's mind blowing. It was like the original Inception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is Back to the Future? Why is it a better trilogy than The Matrix? Wait.
Back to the Future.
Wait. What's your email? We need to get his email. Send your email here. But why is it better than The Matrix?
I feel The Matrix didn't need a trilogy. You could have stopped The Matrix at 1 when he flew away and played Rage Against the Machine.
But you couldn't stop Back to the Future at the first one?
No, I don't. I think Back to the Future needed 2 and 3 in order to make it an awesome story overall. The Matrix was an awesome story with just the first one by itself.
But doesn't that make The Matrix a better movie? The first Matrix. Doesn't that literally make it a better movie than either 1 or 2?
And
technically,
in other people's opinion, yes.
No, sir. No, sir. If a movie can stand on its own, right, by itself, like it has a trilogy, but it doesn't need a trilogy. That's a powerful movie. That's like Batman technically don't need the Justice League. He was doing just fine letting people in Gotham run amok anyway, right? But he's an essential part of it, and there's certain things that, make it all come together. Like, you could just continue to have Batman comic books and never had a Justice League, and it would have been just fine.
Yeah.
So you're saying The Matrix could have been standalone. You didn't have to have anything other than that.
No.
But you had to have another Back to the Future.
Yes. Because it wouldn't have been as great if you didn't keep continuing with the story with him going into the future and then him going into the Wild West. It's just, it makes the story more interesting and more anticipating and just...
I agree, but I disagree.
Okay.
But here's what I think. Never really thought about it this way, but listening to you talk about Back to the Future this way, and it's not like I like Back to the Future. Like, it's certainly not my favorite films of all time, but they're great films. It's more like now we don't really get trilogies in the same sense. Like, we don't get a movie and then that movie does really well and then we get a second movie. A lot of the stuff is planned now. Like,
it's books.
Right. Or yeah. So a lot of times, like, all 3 movies are filmed at one time.
Mm-hmm.
We already know it's going to be broken into 3 segments. You're getting one this year, one next year, one the following year, what have you.
Right.
Where it used to be that you only got a sequel if the first one did well enough to warrant somebody taking the time to write a sequel. And in this case, it took a long time before there was a second Back to the Future movie released. So, to a certain extent, it's almost like it was, pardon the pun, ahead of its time. In that, it's almost like they could have filmed those 3 movies all at the same time and then broken them into 3 movies. They just didn't. So I do get that to a certain extent. I don't know if it's better than The Matrix.
I'll give you this. The Matrix definitely defined the type of CGI and, you know, editing that we see today. It is an awesome, great movie. Definitely one of the top 10s, maybe even top 5s. But still, Back to the Future.
In terms of trilogies, is a top 5, or you just mean the movie itself?
The movie itself.
Okay.
Because, like I said, we didn't need a Matrix 2 and a Matrix 3. I love the Matrix 2, and I love the Matrix 3 a little bit less. But
not as much as
I love Back to the Future.
1, 2, and 3 together.
Together, as a story.
So is Back to the Future 2 a great movie without 1 and 3?
You can't have 2 without 1 and 3.
I understand that, Coop. Answer thine question. Is, because that's your favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
So that's honestly, so that's like saying my favorite part of the book is the middle. I get that.
Mm.
What I'm saying is it a great movie without those other 2 movies?
Yes, and I think a lot of people would actually agree that Back to the Future 2 is the best Back to the Future out of all 3 of them.
Almost. I almost agree with that. I think Back to the Future 2 was pretty dope. If you haven't seen Back to the Future, any of them, you should certainly see it. If your kids haven't seen them, they should certainly see them, and then they should watch, like, Inception. Definitely. I don't agree, but I understand. No, listen, I don't agree, but I understand. But I don't have, like, a top trilogy. There's nothing that stands out for me. Like, this is the greatest trilogy of all time.
I mean, have tons. There's tons of trilogies I love. Granted, some of them are horrible.
Like what?
Ninja Turtles 1, 2, and 3, the original.
Stop. That's not even really a trilogy. That's just 3 movies. So the first 2 were great.
Which was back to
rap, but stop.
They did go back in time in the 3rd one.
They did go back in time in the 3rd one, which came from the comic books. I mean, it's not like, but. Should they do a new should they reboot Back to the Future?
No.
Don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Nope.
Leave it alone. Did you ever watch the Back to the Future cartoon you used to come on TV?
Yes.
Was it better than the movies?
No.
But you watched it because you liked the movies so much?
Yes.
How old were you when the movies came out? When did you see these movies?
I don't remember how old I was, but I can tell you this. It was always playing.
So you saw them on TV?
Always playing. Yeah.
You didn't see them in the theater?
No.
I saw all 3 of them joints in the theater. You're young. I'm old. It's my fault. I'm old. Listen. That's just a quick... Do me a favor and send hate mail to him if you think he's wrong. Coop, where can they reach you?
You can reach me at Facebook.
Don't reach him at Facebook. I'm going to tell you what to do. Send an email to loadingsnacks@gmail.com, right? But make sure you put in the subject, Coop is dead wrong, okay? Do that. You can reach me at gage.loadingsnacks@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at MTShells, MTSHELLZ. Instagram is the same thing. Coop, what's your Instagram?
Instagram is Mr_Super Cooper.
That does have a period in it. It's Mr. Period.
Sorry, that was wrong.
Underscore.
Mr. Cooper.
Mr. Cooper. Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
COOPA.
Yeah. Twitter?
I'm working on it.
Okay, it's weak. It's weak. Listen, appreciate y'all. Drop us a line. Send us your comments. Holler at us. Give us your hate mail. Tell us he's wrong. What trilogy do you like? What's better than this? It could be any trilogy. It could be an anime trilogy. I don't care. Just give me something. Give me some ammo, some feedback, something. Holler at us. Chew on that.
Loading snacks. I don't know how many times I went to the principal's office off of that shit.
Did you really? Come on,
that
dog.
Turn it back to
Suck it.
Suck it.